You seem like taking a nice stroll through the park on a beautiful day. I'm lost looking for my friends. Not from New York. Where are you from around here? Just gonna leave me stranded like I'm visiting New York. That's why New Yorkers are not so, like you see them.
Okay. So, what are your personal critiques on this so far? What do you think you're doing well?
First of all,
what do you
I'm
think
behind her. I should be in front of her, or at least at the same.
Agreed.
And it seems like it's way too far. Like in other words, I should be ahead, but closer to her.
Right. So like once she starts like getting more distance to you, it's annoying. But what you really have to do is you have to kind of speed up and catch up, right? And it does seem a little needy. It does seem a little try hard. But you know what's even more needy and try hard is talking from this far away, right? So it's a tough spot. From the very beginning, I believe your distance was a lot better at the beginning. Let me go back.
Okay.
You're still kind of behind her. It'd be better if you're in front, but it's not so bad. My biggest problem with this first little bit is you're talking really, really, really fast and slurring it all together, and you're also justifying yourself a lot, right? I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you, and then this other reason, right? Just get to the point, right? First of all, no excuses would be good, but if you are going to make an excuse, which sometimes you can make an excuse not because you're uncomfortable, but because just if she seems socially awkward or she seems like kind of like, oh, what's going on and confused, you can make maybe one quick excuse. Hey, sorry, I know this is random, but one excuse and then on with it, right? For you, and actually for you earlier, here's a phrase from old school pickup that's very, very useful. I make no excuses for my desires as a man. That make sense?
Sure.
I'm a man, I have a penis, you're a woman, it's normal and natural for me to talk to you. It should not by anyone be considered weird for that to be happening. That make sense?
Yeah.
So therefore, there's no need to justify it. You just go do it. Right?
Sort of cool, I guess not. Which do you mind helping with directions actually, or?
Okay, so here you kind of like flip the script to like.
Really, sounding uncomfortable.
Also verbally, you kind of flip the switch to like being a little bit reactive, right? Like, well, you're just leaving me. What's this, right? You never ever get negative, right? Because it's just not going to help. It's not going to work. Even if you win the argument, because to be fair, you're probably in the right that she's like being a bit of a dick to you. But telling her that she was a bit of a dick to you is not going to lead to a positive emotion that's going to make her want to like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Right? If I were her, I'd be like, you know what, sir? You're right. I was a dick. Now fuck off. That's literally what I would do if I were her in a nice public place. Not in a dark alley, I wouldn't. But like, you know what I mean? Because again, there's a difference with girls between winning the logical argument and winning the emotional, winning her over emotionally, okay? And with girls, it's always about the vibe and the emotion first and foremost, right? So as soon as, whether it's a rejection or shit test or sometimes like you're out with the girl and then like a bunch of guys keep talking to her and it's like very distracting, it's getting frustrating. As soon as you get frustrated and start losing it, number one, the vibe is bad, right? It's a negative emotion. She doesn't want to stay for that. Number two, the fact that you are getting emotionally reactive to it conveys that you have some kind of agenda. You wanted something out of this interaction, right? The guy who's truly high value doesn't want something out of the interaction, or at least isn't too attached to it because he has lots of other options for that, right? So there's a lot of stuff there. But anyway, let's go on to the next.
No, that's okay. I mean, if you're in a rush and want to be rude, that's cool. Like, I thought you looked a little friendly. How you doing? You're like totally in the spot that I usually tend. I usually go tending here in the park. I had to come over and say hi. Who's in my spot? What's your name?
I'm Serena.
You're creating work? Oh, you're reading a book. I just wanted to come over and say hi. You look cool. Like it. I just like. Eric, how rude of you not to introduce myself. Nice to meet you. It's his interesting book. Well, sometimes like I take your eyes off the book and actually like interact with like cool, attractive, handsome boys. That's so cute. I would be surprised if you don't. So I'm kind of like gay, so you can tell it's cool. Like if I actually, I'm gonna be in trouble. But that's good. What's the book about? What?
I really want to read my book.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt it. I just thought you might be cool. You know, not everyone's cool. It's all right. You can enjoy your day. I just wanted to say hi. Have a good one, all right? Absolutely.
Okay. So that premise of, oh my God, what are you doing? You're in my spot. That's actually a funny premise. It's a good open. It's good off the cuff, whatever, right? The problem is in the delivery though, because it's so like deadpan and logical. She thinks you actually mean it. You understand? Like if I were her, I'd be like, is this guy about to like if I were her, I'd be like worried that you're about to like scream at me or make a scene in the park over this. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right? Because it's a little too serious, a little too deadpan, right?
Okay.
So like it's that same thing of logical and emotional, right? Logically, from a logical pickup theory perspective, the words you said were perfectly good words in pickup, right? But because the delivery is so deadpan and serious, if I were her, I'd be like, I'd be immediately put on the defensive.
Okay.
I'd be like fight or flight, like what the fuck? So for you, I would really, really love for you to like loosen up your body language, loosen up your voice, smile more, all that kind of stuff, okay? Now that's a hard thing to do like on command, because trying to like change your body language inset when you're nervous, whatever. I'll tell you one kind of bizarro exercise that I've actually had students do that works really well for this. You have to kind of suspend disbelief and do it, right? And just like be willing, like I'm willing to make a fool of myself, it's fine, all right? But I've actually done this and it gets students crazy, crazy results. What I have them do is I have them literally, when they walk up to a girl they're gonna talk to, they're not walking anymore, they have to skip, okay? They have to skip up to the girl, all right? And the reason for that is, once you skip up to the girl, it's very, very hard to be Mr. like RoboCop serious, right? You have to like be a little lighthearted at that point.
It's like the Aussie thing where you like walk up with like one hand on your balls.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of a thing, right? But it's the part of fear tech.
Oh.
Yeah, you know that, okay. So yeah, it's partly that, which is partly that you're already doing something like silly enough that you can't hold that, but also skipping physiologically puts you in a fun, silly mood, all right? So that combination, and to be fair, like when I've had guys do it, they actually do get really good results with it.
Yeah, we
so,
kind of practice at an emergent. I don't know if they
Cool.
went along with that, but.
Cool. But so that's that kind of a thing,
Okay.
right? That kind of and it's because the words are fine, but just the attitude is it's a little bit serious
Right.
and a little bit confrontational. Like you're going into it, it feels a little bit like it's like me against the girl. One of us will win and the other will die. You know, like it's a little strong. So just relax.
Okay.
Try and have a little more fun in your pickup and like smile more, right? Instead of thinking, I want this to go well, think of this as I want to have a fun conversation. Does that make sense? And whether a fun conversation leads to a number or sex, whatever. Because if you have enough fun conversations, some of them will, right? But yeah, so I just wanted to point out there. Can you hear the tonality where it's like a little serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. I was partly nervous, but as far as like she's on the ground, I'm standing up, doing the right thing, like leaning down, like I wasn't like comfortable, like, and you can really see it in the footage where.
Yeah. So I wish
I'm sitting down. It really looks weird.
Yeah. I wish the audio didn't cut out, because if the audio didn't cut out, I'd know the right time for this. But typically, what I would do is, as soon as there's some kind of positivity in the set, right, which it requires that at some point it gets positive, right? But there's some kind of positivity in the set. What I would do is I would sit down all the way, right?
Yeah, for a couple minutes. Yeah, I get around.
Yeah, and exactly, time constrain it, right? So, but what you did here, we'll actually watch it and fast forward, because you'll see you kind of go up and down and up and down and up and down. You have to,
Yeah.
you have to. So what I would do is, so I'll stay down, but like pretend I'd stand up. That's fine. But say I'd stand up. As soon as it's good, okay, hey, 1 second, and then go ahead and sit down. Does that make sense?
So you would be standing up until you get some positive feedback. Or
Yeah, she's laughing, asks you a question, those kind of things, right? Qualifies herself, any of those kind of things. They're like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Actually, I gotta go in a minute, but anyway, and then sit all the way down. But if you watch kind of body language wise, we'll just play it on super fast. You're down. Super fast. You're down for a little bit, then you're back up. Then you're gonna go back down in a second. Now you're back up, now you're back down. right? You're kind of all over the place. What you want to do is I would just stay up until there's a positive, and then when you go down, just commit to going down. And I would actually just go all the way down to sit with her,
Okay.
right? But time constrain it so it's not a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, the idea of getting down to her level is the right idea. I wanted to show you an infield, but I don't have it with me. But yeah, basically that's what you want to do.
Hi. You seem like you're biking your way through New York.
Yeah,
Are you from around here?
I am.
I'm not. Like, I'm lost.
Oh.
Where's a cool place to actually bike around here?
Along West Side Highway is nice.
Where's that? I'm like lost. But
That way.
are you like sending me like on a like a
No,
trip, like just
no.
because you seem like friendly and a typical New Yorker.
Okay, so here your vibe's better, but you asked like the absolute one question I never want anybody to ever ask, which is asking for directions on the open.
Like the reason I did that, just to understand, is like I had such a hard time. Like, let me pretend that I'm not from New York and see like if I can get anywhere. Like,
Sure.
Just to work.
Sure,
that
sure.
was my, but I get.
No,
I
it's
get what
fine.
you're saying.
Her reaction was pretty positive, right?
She also like ran away with a bicycle. So like.
Yeah, eventually. But watch.
Hi. You seem like you're biking your way through New York.
Yeah,
Are you from around here?
yeah.
Okay, right up to there, that's all positive, right? That's all like friendly, normal, positive,
Okay.
etc., right? But then now you ask for directions, right? And so when you ask for directions,
It's a short answer where it's gonna just because you can tell me what's there, and it's not-
exactly. And the worst about asking for directions is the answer is never, it's right here. Where's the cool place? It's right here in front of me talking to me. It's no, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there. So as soon as you ask for directions and then you don't go, it's very clear that you either have an agenda or the reason you asked for directions is because you were nervous and couldn't get to the point. So you're automatically like you're booby trapping yourself, right? So up to here, it's fine. This is actually a much better vibe, decent open, because you got a little more relaxed and whatever, right? Because by doing the whole I'm not from New York, I'm just going to see kind of thing, you got rid of your agenda, right? And asking for directions, if you actually were asking for directions, you're going to get a positive response because there's no agenda there. But as soon as you got the directions or as soon as you get an answer and then you're like, wait, but this other thing, now it's like, oh, wait, there's an agenda. Oh, wait, that was just his way of getting into the conversation. So once she saw through that, that's why she left with the bike.
Hi. That's a totally cute backpack.
Thank you.
Stylish. What are you up to? It's a gorgeous date.
Going to work after.
Like, so for the back, like I know a little bit of fashion. You look semi-stylish. I wasn't sure if like you mentioned work, and I know those stripes are like from a Sephora. So I figure like you're Sephora.
I actually work at next. I used to work for Sephora though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you work now? Do make? That's why you have this look. Okay, what happened to your phone? It's like
Right.
been to like Afghanistan and Iraq, or
Oh,
what?
basically.
Good, right? Teasing, whatever. I would say fewer questions, but this vibe is really good, right? Much better. Like fun, positive, flirting, teasing, like a million times better.
Sure.
Right? Really, really good. Again, my one thing on this would be same as with him before, fewer questions.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, this is much better. And you're actually, who knew? You're actually funny, right? Yeah, it's been Afghanistan, Iraq, like it's awesome. It's really good.
I didn't even do this. Somebody else.
You know what I hate? Like I hate when sometimes like my phone just starts flying.
Yeah.
Like it's in your hands and like all of a sudden like gone. Hate that. I'm so rude of me. I didn't introduce myself. It's like a interesting name. It's like, Dominicana, República Dominicana. I know like a little Spanish. Where in Dominican?
Like my family's.
How you throwing like the names like I totally don't know. Like I know like Punta Cana. I know a few other bigger cities, right? Stuff. So what are you up to on a typical day that you're not working?
Typically, I'm at home just working on my freelance stuff.
Like do the makeup. So I do some actually that's funny. So I do like I saw this look about you. I wasn't sure if you're like cool or friendly. I do some photography.
Oh,
Definitely.
that's awesome.
Yeah, you definitely. Do you do anything with fashion and do you do some MUA stuff? Or?
Yeah, I usually go like.
Yeah, you definitely.
Good.
Do you do anything with fashion and do you do some?
Good. This is awesome, right? You're teasing, qualifying, genuinely curious. This is good. This is like
Negging a little bit because of the
a little bit, yeah, teasing a little bit, but also you're sharing your personality, sharing your this is good. This is what it should look like.
Sometimes I go to photo shoots whenever they call me or like whenever I see it on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
I get
cool.
my
That's
case.
listen. was a busy week last week, right? So that was fun. Did you get to go to any cool events?
Actually, go because like work is the mandate, so.
They're like, damn, I gotta be at work.
Yeah, but I like working there.
I feel like you do good at what you do, but I feel like you cause trouble back there.
I cause trouble.
You cause trouble. You look like a little troublemaker.
Oh, not at all.
All right. I can call like I like totally want to keep my distance.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
So what time does the work end for you? I'm actually gonna be hanging out like a meatpacking later.
Well,
It's a cool event.
It was a cool event.
I don't know if you like you can come with me, but like promise not to embarrass me.
Well, actually, I had
Okay, so this is a good set so far. The close, you're kind of going a little strong at it, right? So you ask the question, what time do you get off work? And then you start qualifying, closing, doing all these other things all at once, right? So you're doing a really good job, but it seemed like as soon as the close came up, you maybe got nervous or you didn't quite have it structured or down or whatever. In general, just take a breath, relax, and just assume that if she likes you, it's gonna close, right? Just assume it's on rather than trying to justify it, right? So that's number one. Number two, and this is more of like a technical thing. When you're doing things that are asking for a close, generally afterwards, shut up, right? Do the thing and then shut up and let her answer, let her fill it in. There's a phrase in sales. They say, once you've asked for the order, whoever talks next loses, right? So if you're like, so would you like to, maybe look into that today? So it's just to reiterate, it's a really good, and you start selling again, you're not gonna make the sale there. They're not gonna say yes. I'd be like, so does that seem like, something that could enhance your life in some way? And then if they feel like, they're either going to say, yeah, it seems good, or a lot of times what will happen is if there is an objection or there's a reason, you'll find out what it is.
So you
like,
wait for her reaction to
exactly.
then bring it on to the next one.
Yeah. Now you don't take that to like a ridiculous extreme. Like you don't like sit there for 5 minutes staring at her. In some sales situations you actually would, but like in this situation you don't. But the point is leave enough of a silence where she can actually answer. She can actually, because basically, so what do you do when you're not working? That's a closing question. Does that make sense? That's a question that leads to.
If there was a good interaction, I was trying to move it somewhere where we can try to sort of
Exactly.
some tentative plans.
Exactly, right? You're moving towards a close, and that's good.
But I just did.
But you didn't let her answer,
Okay.
right? You just talked right over your own close.
We have to go somewhere after this, but I appreciate it.
No, like I wasn't a card.
Yes.
Do I look like somebody who like walks around with cards? I'm just me, and I do have a phone, and it actually receives and sends text. Okay, on occasion. I said like it says flying at yours.
Oh, okay.
I hate that. All right, so let's exchange numbers because I have to run too. I gotta meet my.
Okay, so here again, here's the getting too logical thing. Okay, so kind of logical and reactive. So you made this offer, and she's like, I actually have plans later, which based on this interaction is probably legitimate because she seems to like you, right? There's every reason to assume she actually would like to hang out with you, but she just legitimately does have plans, right? She's like, but she said, I guess she's like, I have plans, but do you have a card or something like that, right? To me, she didn't have to say that, right? She could have just said, oh, I can't, I have plans later. But when she says, do you have a card or something like that, that's her offering an alternative, right? And it's a little bit less of a, like if she's like, but do you have what's your number? That would be a little strong on her part. Like girls don't usually ask guys for their numbers, right? So do you have a card is her way of saying it. Now, yes, another interpretation of do you have a card is, will you give me your card so I can like fuck off and never call you, right? Sure. And also, to be fair, even if she likes you in this moment and you give her a card, there's a good chance she'll never call you and follow up because girls typically don't follow up, right? That's not their rule in the mating game, and a lot of times they just aren't focused on it and whatever, right? Or they don't know what to say and it's awkward and so they just don't get around to it. But that said, it's still a good thing, right? So rather than misinterpret it negatively and make this whole like, do I look like a card person and get all serious about it? Instead, just misinterpret it positively. Like, she's like, oh, I can't, but you have a card? You're like, yeah, we could do numbers. Cool, what is it? Just assume that that's what she, do you see what I'm saying? Yes. But see, instead you got very logical about it.
Really,
exactly, okay? But if in doubt, if there's something ambiguous where it's like, this could be good or it could be bad, assume good and act accordingly, as opposed to assuming bad and act accordingly. Because this is a situation where it was probably good, but when you got all logical, you turned it into a shit test or a rejection that wasn't even there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Friends real quick, and it's cool that we like ran into each other. What's your number? Name in the phone. So how do you spell your name? It's like I don't want you to hate me from the rest of life if I don't get you like spelling of a name. That wouldn't be right. Yeah, I never like really finished school well. I kind of get kicked out, so like spelling it out. I wasn't born in this country actually, so like English is my second language. That's cool. All right, we'll hit each other up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like promise, like not to burn out Union Square because I actually like it.
Oh, yeah.
I like to hang out. No, it's like on a gorgeous day like today. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. It's just gonna get nicer.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully you stay focused.
Hey, I'll make a call.
All right.
I'll talk to you later. Bye. Now I had to race somebody on the street. I never like had to like race up somebody on the street and burn so many calories.
Oh my God.
You look so gorgeous.
Thank you.
But you look like little trouble.
Why?
You look cute. I just wanted to come over and say hi.
Hi. How
It's like serious handshake. Oh my God. Like, soft hands. Oh, I like it.
Thank you.
Then good. All right, good. We could still be friends. Good thing you didn't say Colombia.
Why?
Okay, good. So I like this in terms of, again, teasing, flirting vibe, etc. You know, using my lines always good. So that's positive. But no, the vibe is very, very good. My major critique here would be because she is walking so fast.
Yeah.
Be sure to stay in front of her, because what you're doing a lot of stuff that's like good and animated, but it's slowing you down and then you have to catch up again. And slowing down, you have to catch up again.
She doesn't see the body language either.
Yeah, also true. But just try and get that step ahead and keep it. That's probably more important than some of like the jokes and stuff that are going on. When you did stop her, it was hard to tell. It looked, I guess she didn't actually stop. She semi-stopped, or did she actually stop before? Do you know what I'm talking about? When you shook her hand,
I stop her. I think I actually stopped her. Yeah.
Cool. If she would have actually stopped at that moment, that would have been a massive help for the set. That said, if she wasn't willing to stop, forcing it would have been bad. So maybe we did the exact right thing of trying and then going, or maybe you should have like stopped her. I don't know, because I don't know what the pressure in her hand when you pulled on it felt like.
Okay.
But just be aware of that if there was a chance to stop her, that's massively helpful. Okay. But yeah.
You always try to stay ahead of them to try to stop it, because that will help.
In general, I don't like to use the word always because there's exceptions, but yes, in general, yeah, you want to stay ahead because it looks like you're leading, because it makes it easier to stop, because it doesn't feel like you're chasing. Right? Whereas here, it just seems like, because every time you pull off and do something and then have to catch up again, it looks chasing.
Really,
Yeah, if it is the case that the vibe is positive, but she's in a hurry, you could call attention to it. You just be like, so let's talk about this. Clearly we're two attractive people, but clearly you're, practicing for the Olympic race walking or something. What's going on here? Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. But you can just she's like, oh yeah, I'm late for this, that, or the other. Right? You're like, okay, cool. How far are you going? All right, cool. I'll walk a block or two with you, and then blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? So you find out the situation. Yeah. In general, it's good not to talk about game in game. However, if things are generally good, but there's just one frustrating thing, and it's come up a couple of times, like she's just not slowing down even though it's positive, you could just call attention to it and be like, so what's up with the race walking? Like, is this a fitness thing, or are you like late for like an important interview? Does that make sense?
I hear Colombia around. Dangerous girls. Oh my God. All right, so fun. All right, cool. I see like you look stylish and cute. I wasn't sure if I should like keep my distance. Now I totally will keep my stuff away. Where are you like running to? I'm actually I have to run in a few minutes. I'm meeting up my friends, doing some photography. What do you have to? A beautiful day.
I'm going to cinema.
I don't perform there.
No.
I'm on.
Okay.
Like the performance that you're gonna see, and my performance of like.
No, I'm I'm going to see a movie. Moonlight?
That's like so cute. Isn't it romantic? Are they gonna like shut the lights off and like? Are you gonna like hold someone?
I'm going by myself.
Stop! Seriously? What time is the movie? What time is the movie?
4.
Oh, all right, you're like in a rush. Why are you going by yourself? A cute girl like you. Cute girl like you should totally have like an awesome company.
Yeah, well, I love to do things on my own.
You're gonna be like bored. You're gonna wish.
All right, cool. So this is not bad. You've kind of shifted a little bit into the pleading frame a little bit when you're like, oh, a girl like you shouldn't be going to a movie by yourself. And also you have to be careful about that, because if you're making her self-conscious about going to the movie yourself, you're kind of putting her in this role where she's thinking about social narratives, and she's thinking about not doing the wrong thing or doing the embarrassing thing or doing the slutty thing, or you know what I mean?
My logic was to try to like tease her, like you should have a company. Like, why are you going by yourself? You should. Like,
Yeah. And that tease is good a little bit, but don't overdo it, because when you make a big deal of it, now again okay. So if a girl's thinking in terms of like, I better fit in with society, she's not going to get picked up as easily. She's not going to have a one-night stand as easily. All that kind of stuff. If she's thinking in terms of like, I live my own life, I do what I want, this is an adventure, that kind of thing, then she's in the vibe of, oh, let's meet a cool stranger. You see what I'm saying?
right.
So when you're bringing up like social narratives, you're kind of working against yourself a little
Okay,
bit.
so it's
right.
a certain frame, and she needs to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
about it. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's not entirely and the other thing is when you're like, oh, you should be with a cute guy like me, I like the way you were doing it before better. So before you were misinterpreting, she's like, oh, that's not my performance. My performance is better, right? Instead of saying, oh, you should be with a cute guy like me, instead be like, well, if that's your way of enticing me to come to a movie with you, I'm flattered and I appreciate it. I don't know if I can right now, but you see the difference though?
Yeah.
So instead of being like, please let me into your frame, it's like, oh, I see you trying to have me in your frame.
My thing was just to try to come from high value like that, you know,
Yeah.
and see how she reacts to that.
Yeah. No, the idea is right.
Okay.
The idea is right, but do you understand the difference in phrasing? The difference between like, oh, you should go with someone cool like me, as opposed to, oh, so you're trying to invite me to a movie? That's so cute.
Okay.
You see the difference?
Completely misinterpreted.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Like, you're gonna wish like this cute boy really what's set with me. Like, I'll get you like a Diet Coke.
Oh, I don't like Coke.
I'll drink it myself. Okay. If you don't, that's your thing. If you don't like it, why don't we try to connect?
Sure.
And we'll do something fun. But you gotta like promise. I'm not gonna be like what I'm kind of shy a little bit. I don't know why I started talking to you and approach you, but at the same time I had to, because I was like kicking myself all day if I didn't.
Okay. So again, good setup to this point. I don't like the why don't we on the number. We talked about that. But good. Going for the number close here. Totally good. But you did the same thing again, which is right after trying to close, you started talking and justifying it.
So let her talk and just.
Let her talk. Ask as though you expect the answer to be yes, not as though you expect to have to sell a bunch after asking.
Where do you live in the city? Oh, so we're off of the city. Cool. Yeah, you missed out. There was awesome events. You seem like in fashion a little bit.
Oh.
There was awesome. Did you
No.
Did you like attend anything in Fashion Week?
No, I was nothing. I was in Guatemala.
You got kicked out?
Sorry?
You got kicked out of the United States?
No, I work for the UN, so I have to travel a lot to the work.
You're not smuggling drugs, are you?
Sorry?
You're not like smuggling drugs or anything, right?
No, I
Because
work
I'm
for
gonna
the
like
United Nations.
I can run really fast. Like these are like cool boots, but like don't be deceived by the looks. I'm into football, like the real football, not the American football.
No, I don't.
So what are your hobbies? Do you have any?
Yeah, I just like to travel.
Really? That's a lot of times what I do.
Yeah, so basically what you did is you closed, she said yes, and now you're like right back in the middle of the set and you're gonna have to close again.
Okay. So
You understand?
At that point, she would get the number.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right? You can get her number and then keep talking as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you're right back to as though you'd never tried to close.
Hiking. That's cool. I travel a lot for work too. I do a lot of photography, so I travel. Not so much for Scandinavia?
Think of it this way. There's a kind of a model I have. It's a model I have in game, but a model I have for the world too. So I had a math teacher in high school, right? And he had this type of mistake that you can make. He called it a UDI, meaning unnecessary display of ignorance. Okay. And what basically that is like, say you're doing math and you have an answer that's a correct answer, but you could simplify it or write it in like a nicer form. But if you mess up in changing it to a nicer form, you got the problem wrong. And so his philosophy was, as soon as it's in an acceptable form, leave it the fuck alone, right? Don't mess up there, right? Don't make an unnecessary display of ignorance, okay?
Keep it simple.
So here, yeah, you asked for the number, you got the number. Like, keep it simple, because anything that you do in between getting the number, you could mess up. You could make a mistake. So instead, get the number, solidify the win, and then keep talking after the number, right? And you can convey more personality, can convey all these positive things after the fact. And if you mess up, you still have the number, so you can still recover it. And also, in game, after getting the number, everything you do is now from the premise that you're already together and like each other, so it's even more powerful anyway, okay? But just in general, like, once you have a win, get the win, all right? I'll tell you, I had a situation, this came up on an LA immersion like a while back, right? I pulled a girl home, we're back in her place, I've like played the set like super hard, I played the set to like perfection, right? Like perfection. We're in bed, like fingering her, like going down her, and she says, do you have a condom, right? But the whole premise I've had throughout the entire thing was this like teasing, you can't have me kind of premise. And so I hesitated a bit because I wanted to keep the tease going. And so I was like, yeah, but I don't want to just, and she like froze up and got weird about it because she misinterpreted that like I didn't want to use a condom or something, as opposed to I don't want to do it just yet. And she froze up and got weird about it. And the entire set just like fell apart and had to like, there was massive work to do after it, right? Instead, why didn't I just take yes for an answer, right? Because I was trying to be too perfect. I was trying to like do too much beforehand. I could have done that work after sex, okay? Same kind of thing. When you have a close on the table, just take it. Yeah.
And Russia sometimes. Sort of consider that. Yeah, I gotta like totally meet my friends. So, what number am I texting you on?
Good. That's actually a much smoother number close anyway, right? Because you're more confident. I guess because she already kind of said yes, right? So you're more confident. But what number I text you on is way better than why don't I get your number? Why don't you? Yeah, okay. Good. Well done. Awesome. This is another good set. All right.
All right, let's put this in the phone real quick. What's your name? With a double S. That's cute. Did you see if you got it?
I don't have battery. So.
You don't have battery. You don't have a Colombia. Like, tell me good things why I should like hang out with you. You don't have battery. You're from Colombia. Like, what's good? Like, it's a cute lipstick that matches your shirt. I like it. I don't know about other things in curly. I gotta make a. Where's your theater? Because I gotta go like. What's the movie?
11.
Do you even know like what the movie is about?
It's like Moonlight.
Okay.
It's like nominated for the Oscar.
Oh yeah, I heard about it. I never get to see it.
It's like one of the leader actors.
Oh, okay. What's the movie about really in terms of like what are the settings?
It's like racial stuff. Like people struggling.
Okay, so sort of like what me and you do. Like that's the common theme, like for sure. So you just came back last week, or?
Yeah, I just came back last week.
Yeah, how was what? Yeah.
Amazing.
Did you meet?
It was my second time there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like all work. I hope you get to like enjoy the country or whatever. Oh really? Yeah, you seem like you're like I do a lot of I do bicycling like on a hybrid bike. I do mountain biking and stuff.
So this is good in the sense of putting more time in after the number tends to make it solid.
Right.
That said, you want to keep doing good game traits. So if you shift into just asking question after the number, that's not really helping you. But if you keep conveying your personality, teasing her like you've done a little bit of, telling your stories, that's good. The other big thing to do after you get a number, and this relates to you as well, is to figure out the logistics. So figure out what her life looks like. Because if you want to make plans, you want to know what days she's free, what times when you text her is she likely to text back,
Right.
and what time. Because like if you have to text a bunch of times to get her to text back, that's bad. If she responds to the first text, that's very
Right.
good, right? If you find out that she works some crazy schedule and you keep texting when she's asleep, you're not going to get a text back nearly as often, right? So finding these kind of things out about her life.
She was actually leaving like in a literally few days to be a UN to like Morocco for like a month or something.
Yeah, that's important information,
Yeah.
right? You want to know that information because that means like you're willing to burn it to the ground a little bit. That means be a little more like pushy in the text, be willing to be desperate if necessary, even not desperate, but be willing to be like,
Times of an issue.
text a little more than you would. Don't just like let it cool and build value over time. Get to the point.
Right. Like you said, like it's really within that 1 week, otherwise you kind of lose that point of.
Yeah, typically, but especially if she's leaving town in 3 days, it's within that time, right? Yeah, but yeah, you even if not, you do want to try and make plans sooner rather than later. But yeah, much better. When your vibe is good, you do well. When you're willing to flirt, you do well. And the big thing for you is, don't come from the frame of like expecting a negative and bracing yourself against it. Come from the frame of expecting a positive, right? Because when you are a little cocky, when you're like misinterpreting and being playful and flirty, that's when you do really well, right?
Yeah, I noticed that sometimes it's like being nervous or that's one thing, and then being logical is one of the things that I should work on as well. Those are the main things, logical and
Yeah, logical, and then the assumption of whether it's going to go well or whether it's going to go badly. Like
so it's always on.
Yeah, at least err massively on that side. Yeah, absolutely. And then the other big one is when there is something that is a shit test or a rejection, don't get negative about it quickly, because a lot of times they can be turned around, but the moment you go negative, it's done, right? So the moment you get reactive or defensive or abrasive,
Right.
done.
Okay.
Yeah, always in good humor. Like, even if the girl gave me the most obnoxious, egregious, ridiculous, hurtful, like blow off I've ever had in my entire life, I'd be like, that just happened. That's awesome. I can't believe you did that, right? But it wouldn't be like, but out of moral indignation, I think that, right? It wouldn't be that reaction. Does that make sense? So avoid ever going to that sort of a frame. But yeah, the big thing for you is just keep it flirty and assume the positive, because you have a lot of techniques, and when you let them come out, you're doing a lot of positive things. But when you go either question, or when you get too logical.
How would you recommend actually slowing down? Because I try to like really debrief a lot of girls to get. That's one of the things that you mentioned. Like, how do you actually like try to slow down? That's my problem a lot of times.
Don't worry about slowing down so much as worry about pausing. Is it okay to talk really fast, and then pause, and then talk really fast again, and then pause?
Because you do mention about like if you want to spike it or like get to a different level, you can actually use intonation or how you present it in a way that you speed it up, slow it down, a little sexier or a little more energy in it. So
yeah, you can do all those things. For now, if the issue, like on the first one, I was saying you were just speaking too fast, if it's just a question of you're speaking fast and you want to slow down, don't worry about slowing down the words that are coming out. Just let the words come out. But don't worry about anything. Think about when you make a point, you've made the point, and let it sit.
Okay.
Right?
So
Because where you get into trouble is where you start saying something and then just like you close and then you start justifying it, right? Or you make a strong statement and then instead of letting it hang in the air and be a strong statement, you start justifying it, right? So it's not that you need to slow down the rate at which words are coming out, it's that you need to have pauses, right? Especially like in writing, there's a period. When there's a period, make a stop, right? Stop, pause, let it hang a little bit. It's okay, right? Be okay with the awkwardness of the fact that you made a strong point and you're going to stick by it, right? And if you get an objection to the strong point, great. That's going to make it a more interesting conversation, right? That's going to engage her, so that's fine. That makes sense. But I wouldn't worry about the rhythm of the words so much as I'd worry about the presence or absence of pauses, right? And especially if you're talking about slowing down, in your case, pausing rather than justifying yourself. And when you've made a strong statement and you want to jump in and justify yourself, just make yourself hold off like half a second, right? So if it's like, hey, you know what, we should hang out, what's your number? And by the way, I'm going to be hanging out in Meatpacking, it's really cool. Instead, hey, we should hang out, what's your number? actually, me and my friends, it just so happens we're going to meatpacking later, right? Even just by having that pause there, it makes it seem way less of a big deal. And also, you gave a good chance that she'd just give the number without any justification, right? So yeah, that'll help you, I think, a lot with the slowing down. Make sense?
Thanks, yeah.
Cool, yeah. But yeah, these last sets were really good. Like the vibe got way, way, way better.
Yeah,
And
I was way nervous, like when you were running.
yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, camera will do that to you, and then the first few sets of the day will do it to you.
Like I said, I was trying to like pretend tourist, like it's just like
Yeah.
obviously the direction was not a good one. So
Yeah.
cool.
Trust yourself. Trust yourself in both of your cases. Trust that you are a good deal for the girl, and trust that the girl would be better off with you there than not, right? Because to varying degrees, but both of you guys do fall into the trap of justifying yourself a little too much, right? You don't need to be justified, right? You're a cool person. You're totally worthwhile, and you're offering something of value. No justification needed. Cool?
Awesome. Thanks.
Awesome, man. Yeah, good job.
for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you both.
So it's cool. I'm gonna make a left real quick here. Do you wanna? I wanted to get a quick drink. You wanna? You like from Latin America? Somebody from Latin America should like totally have to have a drink of a coffee of some kind.
No, I just had coffee
Like your siesta. So we have a deal, right? You're gonna teach me a little Spanish. I'm like, I promise to be a good student. You're not gonna teach me? You're gonna be boring?
Sorry?
You're gonna be boring? You're like actually gonna teach me? I'll be the nice person in our relationship. I will like actually teach you things and you'll improve.
Are you trying to sell yourself?
Sell myself. Did you like see me? Like I don't need to sell anything. People usually come up to me like, please show me things. No, but it's cool. We'll get to hang out. We'll do something fun.
Okay, take care.
Nice meeting you. Bye.